10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Vengeful spirit.
Outworld Devourer.
Dire team pick.
There we go. Good morning and hello, as I have a little issue there with my brain and my fingers actually pressing buttons. But welcome, ESL Southeast Asian qualifiers for ESL One Manila. Of course, we're heading into the draft in first departure and the Mongolz. It's going to be game number 1 of this best of 3 between these two teams, and well, it should be an absolute cracker. As I welcome in my co-caster, Heen. What do you know about these two teams?
Hey, first of all, hey Durka. Audio is off to a great start.
That's sarcasm?
No. There's a bit of a buzz, but other than that, yeah, I hear you just very clear.
Excellent.
But as to your question, First Departure, obviously a well-known team in the CA. They're not quite the top tier, but they've been around for a hell of a long time. And Miracle, their star player and captain. I think most people who've been following the CE scene are quite familiar with them. Their roster has been pretty stable, despite their, they expect more. I think every competitive team, they want to go more. And I've seen some tweets from Miracle saying he really wants to attend the LAN, but hasn't been able to do so. But this team doesn't really need an introduction. I think a lot of people are wondering who Mongolz are. We've played them a few times. It might be once or twice, but one of them was in a tournament in the Philippines. It was a nationality-based tournament, so like some of the teams that originally have mixed nationalities, like let's say a combination of Malaysians and Singaporeans, they had to alter their roster to participate in that tournament. So in that tournament, we played Mongolz in the first series, and they beat us. We were kind of a bit cocky. We thought, we haven't really faced a team from Mongolia before. How strong could they be? And just fair and square, we got beat.
Was this not? Didn't you play them at IESF as well?
Yeah, IESF.
In Azerbaijan.
Yeah. And we started off the tournament really bad. We went on to win the tournament. Just casual bragging. One of our few tournament wins outside of Korea. But yeah, they were very good, and we scrimmed them, I think, once or twice after that, and for sure it wasn't a fluke that they beat us in the match. And these guys are good. They're not like super good, but it might be because just the same way as the Koreans are somewhat, like, I wouldn't say isolated, but they have like their own region, right? I think the Mongolians have like a similar issue where they might not feel truly connected to the full region, so they don't. So compared to how little they're known, they are very good.
That's the thing,
I have to say about it.
For them, playing from Mongolia, playing into China, playing into Europe, playing into Southeast Asia, it's all relatively difficult. I think we talked to them at IESF. Was that November 2 years ago? Jeez, that was a long time ago. But yeah, they said that they basically get like 250 ping to Europe, they get like 250 ping over to China, and Southeast Asia is kind of the one where they're like, well, we get a similar ping, the region is nicer, we just play in SEA and see how we do there. But I agree, they shocked and surprised us at IESF because we had no idea who they were. They were just like, oh, a Mongolian team, that's cool, I guess. and they came out and they actually played Dota 2, you know? They've got some pretty good players, and looking back at their drafts recently, they definitely latched on to a few things that I noticed. They've got a very TNC-esque drafting style from what I picked up last night when I was looking these guys up. You know, their Mid-Jakiro, their little things like that. But so far the drafts, let's run through them pretty quickly. First departure, ban out Enchantress, Batrider, Broodmother, and Omni Knight, while they pick up the Earth Spirit, Darkseer, Oracle, and Invoker for themselves. While the Mongolz, they got Venge, OD, Wisp, Tide, and Slark. They banned out Faceless Void, Lone Druid, Spectre, and Juggernaut. And first departure, their fifth final pick. One roll hero. I mean, we're down to the last pick now. Just give me your prediction for their last one.
I was gonna say Spectre, but banned. Might be an okay spend game, but never mind. PA. Because any BKB carrier is gonna have an okay time. Like, as long as you don't text or let's say you're in a defensive position, you want to get out. The only thing to stop it is the swap from Venge and maybe an Abyssal Blade on Slark later on. Yeah, but something I think you should play against an OD, you generally want at least one core that threatens the OD pretty well. I mean, Ursa is a classic example. The PA is gonna... It's not the greatest because BKB is surprisingly very good against PA. You can't Blink Strike, you can't use your Stifling Daggers, so that might mean OD doesn't care too much about the PA for the time
10
being.
seconds remaining.
But yeah, I think Mongol's draft is kind of interesting
5
because you don't
seconds
really
remaining.
see these combination of heroes together. Like when you see a Wisp, you usually see like a Batrider or some kind of catch hero, not like a Tidehunter. And the cores are kind of Wisp OD, Wisp Slark, not the most common sight, you know.
And usually this Oracle is, you know, paired up with a Death Prophet or something like that, but I can see the merits here of Phantom Assassin plus that False Promise from Lubby. You know, you jump in, you crit, you heal yourself up, that lifesteal on Phantom Assassin, and Miracle should have a decent time. It is one of his heroes, you know, we think about Miracle, and usually Naga is the initial hero that comes to mind, but you know, his Slark, his Phantom Assassin, they're also heroes that kind of allowed him to rise to fame and popularity. But let's just take a quick look. So, laning stage. All likely than not, it's going to be the OD mid, maybe with the Wisp, partnered up with him, rolling those rooms and giving Retribution a nicer time, while Sanka and Arian Bolo down to bottom lane with the Slark and Vengeful Spirit, and Masquerade should be the off-lane Tidehunter, all on his lonesome. Over on first departure, what do we have? We've got Cal, he keeps changing his name between the two. Sometimes he capitalizes the L at the end, sometimes he changes it to an I.
They're two different players, huh?
Oh, they're two different players. Are you serious?
Yeah, Cal's the guy who always plays offlane, and Kai's the forward. They have like other aliases that are more unique, but I guess they're like BFFs. Like, they want to be some kind of like twin brother or something. But yeah, they're two different players, and
Of course, Cal's on the docks here. My brain hasn't woken up yet. So, that's on me. Miracle, PA, of course, Lubby on the Oracle, Cal Darkseer, Kai, Earth Spirit, Molosan on the Invoker. So, what is... first off, you know, we saw Moody actually standing up for Miracle the other day, and that was pretty interesting for FD. Hopefully with Miracle back, they'll perform a little bit better. Who does... What's Kai's usual name, then?
Man, I don't know actually. I mean,
I've put you on the spot.
yeah, I mean these guys during the TI5 qualifiers, their roster included. They use like their official names. Like these aren't their official names. They're like half official names. Unless they change their roster. One of them is Visera, and I don't know. I really got used to Cal and Kai though. I remember we used to preparing for like a tournament and qualifiers. We want to be extra sure when the game begins. Like let's say when someone picks like the Darkseer. I mean, sometimes like the support and offlane heroes are just interchangeable, and we want to know for sure who's coming to the offlane. So we would memorize like Cal with the capital L is the offlane. But we really didn't really care about who's playing what, as long as you know who's coming to which lane.
Sense. Find out which lanes they're going to. So Slark is bot so far.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that where the Wisp is going to be mostly, could be stacking for the Tidehunter, the Ancients, and healing up the OD against aggression of Spirit. Or he could choose to focus on the Tidehunter, because this Tidehunter versus PA Oracle lane might be pretty easy if he gets some help. Get like a 2 levels in Kraken Shell and get a Magic Stick. Not much they can do. Earth Spirit contributing.
Definitely looks like they're going to be setting up for some
No
stacks.
Avenge? Oh, you're far up there.
Got to. On the high ground. Well, Tidehunter and Wisp have already destroyed half the bloody
30
jungle. The
seconds to
Amazon
battle.
is gone. As this nice little Iron Talon has made a path between the two camps. So Wisp should be able to stack up both medium and large camps here off from the mid lane. Get themselves a nice big chunk of gold for the Tide if he so desires. In fact, Masquerade is just going around the jungle cutting all the trees. He's pretending to be a timber saw at this point.
Neither of them seems. This is like going to be a true men fight, but it's going to be a 4-on-5 for FD.
Oh, the roll in onto the Wisp. They've targeted well here. Double Iron Shell is down, but they've got that Fortune Gem to trap a couple in. Cal is pounced back on, and the Doctor's going to die. The Earth Spirit's the first one to fall, and actually his first departure. To not only lose 2 heroes, and do get the bounty rune though. 2 for 0. Double bounty rune there, but it's still a nice chunk of change there for the Wisp. Get his early bottle out. Masquerade gets himself a nice bit of experience as well.
Yeah, definitely not the better trade for FD, giving up and like 2 kills. If it were some kind of like weak mid laner, didn't get the bounty on her, that relies on the first chunk of EXP and gold to get the bottle, it might be a different story, but the Wisp did get the bottle, and he is able to heal up the OD if he needs to, regardless, so, you know, getting both the bounty runes isn't going to be a big deal for FD.
Now it's insult to injury, actually, as R70 has pulled this Dark Troll camp across with the Wisp. Not only does Pelosin have a rough time mid against the OD, but he's also having all of his experience leached away by this Wisp pulling across, so Retribution last hitting onto the tier 2 tower. It's 1 minute in, and the creep wave is meeting behind tier 2. Spirit's going to try his best. Kai will have to try and roll in and maybe look for a kill onto Retribution, but it's not going to be the easiest thing here as R70 does come through to heal up the OD. He's pretty much back to full already. Let's have a look at these other lanes though. So Miracle on this PA, love to be on the Oracle. They're alone up at top for now because Masquerade is actually full-time jungling so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Him jungling. It's just completely conceding a lane, and I felt like Iron Talon is not that bad of a, what do you call it, a laning item for Tidehunter, especially because, you know, most offlaners, they want the, oh, Cal, is he okay?
He looks like he's fine, there's no gush or anything.
I'm surprised they didn't run for that, the Wisp and Tidehunter.
They cancelled the salve though. Wisp does get that final hit out, and Cal makes the long run back to base. Fight himself around, are you gonna sure you de-ward this? We'll be able to stack it, but it'll clear through the Hellbears, I think. It's not that easy now, he's realised he can't do it. Just being smashed around. So Miracle's getting free farm time up the top, but you look at the Slark and he's not doing too badly himself, 12 and 2. Pretty much even with the Phantom Assassin, even against the Darkseer lane.
Yeah, as long as he gets like semi-solo levels and gets the fast level 6, he should be able to lane against the Darkseer, no problem. Going back to the point that I was making, I thought Tidehunter could afford to lane against this PA Oracle combo. Because Tidehunter is one of the unique heroes that don't really need a Stout Shield after level. If you get level 2 Kraken Shield, it's even better than a bit of a trade at mid. Not really gonna lead to much. And Earth Spirit is level 1, so I think this is really smart laning setups from Mongolz, because the Earth Spirit definitely doesn't want to risk going at mid. There's huge turnaround potential from the Wisp, so it's awkward for him to get levels somehow because this hero relies a lot on rotations, and like a high portion of his experience pre-level 6 comes from getting assists and kills. He might be getting a really late level 6 this game.
It is rough for him. Retribution has picked up a second null talisman, and this isn't something that I've seen too often on ODs at all. You know, usually it's like the null talisman into bottle, then brown boots, you get a bracer, you get your tread, you get your drums, and that's kind of been the standard set on OD as the kind of pivotal build. Outworld Devourers to get their stats, attack speed, and all that up and running to actually become the fighter that you need him to be. What's the reason for the second null, do you think?
I think it might have to do with Essence Aura. So the way Essence Aura works is, I mean, based on probability, you need a certain amount of mana pool to be safe that you're going to sustain your arcane orbs. Yeah, I think he's trying to hit that threshold earlier. So arcane orb costs 100 mana, and well, hold on to that.
There's no Ghost Walk. He doesn't have mana for Ice Wall either. Pelosin, Fairy Fire keeps him alive for now. Retribution going to try and dive this one in behind the tier 1. One more hit. It's not enough. Pelosin, he's surviving through it. The Wisp will finish him off. For the rest of first part to come through, and they'll be able to clear up another. But Retribution has a Fairy Fire of his own. And with this Wisp heal, they're keeping themselves alive. They trade off the little IO, but OD will die in the end. And his first departure, the 2-man TP, as well as the rotation in from Darkseer, allow them to secure a good trade-off.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt, but unfortunately, first departure, they could have TP'd in early. I'm not sure how exactly that would have changed things. Probably, that might have been better for Mongolz. If the TPs were sooner, they would be like, okay, we're diving in way too deep. But because they committed, they ended up getting that kill and getting double killed as a result. But yeah, I think OD wants to. You need about 1,000 mana, slightly more, to be pretty safe that you're never going to run out of mana on OD. Depends on your SNSR level, but yeah, it has to do with that, I think.
Trying on the Invoker again. Oh, there's a kick across up the Vengeful Spirit. There's no stun coming through, and he can't stop. They're going to go in for the Invoker anyway with those Arcane Orbs. It's enough for Retribution to clear up the kill. And Wisp, keep him alive for now, but another Purifying Flames, yeah. As the Magic Stick charge is coming to work, he baits out another nuke from Oracle. Apart to lose their Invoker once more, while Tidehunter is up at top, getting closer to that level 6 point. Slark, I saw a lot of money on him, and I'm guessing Hand of Midas, yeah, he's got the recipe coming out. I'll have that Gloves of Haste as well to get the, 6 minute 20 Midas? Not bad timing for him.
Definitely not, it's a pretty fast Midas. He did skip boots, but on a hero like Slark, where levels are so important, every checkpoint is really valuable for like level 10, 11, 14, 16. Payoff huge. One of the best Midas carries in this match.
Invoker, another one of these Midas carriers, is going to have a lot of work to do. It's a steep incline for him to actually get his gold and push himself up onto that Midas timing. In a rough laning stage so far, so he heads back into the jungle to farm himself through, while Earth Spirit will take lane experience for now. Tidehunter, what we're looking at. So Arcane Fruits is pretty close, but they'll keep jumping on him. Miracle. They have Orb of Venom, which is kind of interesting. That's been an item with that PA dagger.
You have to remember that he was laning against no one for a while, so he decided to. He's gonna get really fast 6 slot, like the early game 6 slot, so no slot for Venom Orb. I'm surprised that Mongolz haven't stacked the Ancients more, because not only does it benefit the Tidehunter, but it does so the Wisp as well. The Wisp might have been thinking too much as like that kind of semi roaming, like bounty hunter-esque role. That has its own merits, but I think a few stacks here and there. That was the first stack that they attempted on the Ancients, and they're not doing it now. It used to be one of those things we used to watch replays and be like, come on, we have to be more disciplined about Ancient stack. These are huge. And just now, I think the Wisp could have stacked the Ancients. You're creating like 200 gold and a chunk of the XP value every time you do it. No reason not to.
Getting that level 6 for the Wisp is pretty damn important. Gonna try and
this Tidehunter and Venge, I'm not sure who they find, because these two definitely cannot kill the Invoker.
Yeah, it's an interesting
it was really awkward from this.
Because, like, they had it all planned out as well. They moved across to this large camp, they got level 6 on the tide, and then they smoked here. And they kind of, you know, they kind of wandered around in the river from the top lane, but find anyone just yet. Bottom lane, Slark. Going on down there, Wisp tethers across. That's a long ass tether actually. His R70 gets himself all the way into the river. Slark, himself out of dodge. With Earth Spirit and Darks here, comboing up nicely with their wall and shells. Bring down the slippery little fish. Still seeing this Invoker though, farming through in the jungle, stacking up camps for himself. OD has been given the lane mid
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
past couple of minutes though, and he's got his drums completed. This is going to be an absolute monstrous at-world devourer that's going to be really difficult to handle. Especially when, you know, Slark doesn't necessarily need this Wisp to keep him healed up, right? You've got Shadow Dance, you're going to have like a Shadow Blade or something soon. This OD is going to have the full healing power of that Wisp behind him.
Yeah, I think the more ideal target this game is the OD for Wisp to tether. Because Slark, it's hard to keep up with Slark, right? He's gonna move around so much, blink out here, pounce there. You might unintentionally break the tether. So having 2 mobile heroes is better than having like 1 super mobile hero.
Oh, they're not contesting Invoker in the jungle, so he's actually farming himself up pretty decently. You know, net worth sitting at 2.7k. After being crushed in lane so handily, it's breath of fresh air for Pelosi to just get a couple of minutes to himself and get some gold. Cool. It's on top of a haste rune, and this is something that I have seen. I know it's coming. But going to be the Wisp that picks it up and fills his bottle. Waiting though for this Titan to actually go and utilize this Ravage. He's been patiently farming and getting himself up into this mech timing though. Stress Arcanes. I wonder if they're going to go for another smoke. There's one in the stash here for the Vengeful. Mongolz, they kind of feel that First Departure are up to something, right? Because there's Darkseer, Earth Spirit off the map. Oracle sitting mid, there's no Invoker showing. Slark is very, very worried about what's going to hit him.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that the FD for now seem to have no intention of making aggressive moves, but still the off-map presence is playing a role on the Slark. And still, I think Mongolz, the thing I pointed the most is the lack of ancient stacks, especially because Avenge and Wisp are off to a slow start. And Wisp concentrated on stacking these, but ancients are far more efficient. Like the Tide doesn't really care if it's ancients or neutrals in terms of killing them. And then you could leave that to the OD or Slark, who are also great at clearing neutrals, but have no way of clearing ancients.
Especially when the tempo of the game has slowed down so significantly. You know, the first, 6 minutes, there was just like kills and roaming and looking for openings on lanes. But the past 4 or 5 minutes, really happened on these lanes. You've seen Vengeful Spirit and Wisp really not accomplish anything at all. They've been kind of wandering around, waiting for something to happen. So I'm in full agreement. They definitely could have utilized their time a little more efficiently. While First Departure, it's like the opposite, right? Folk has been farming himself up to level 8.5. He's got his Midas recipe. It's not the worst timing. What he would love to do, but Miracle currently sitting on 90 last hits and 5,500 net worth. He's pretty much keeping up with Slark, even though Slark has the Midas. First Departure are farming well, and they've got a good spread of farm across their heroes. Earth Spirit, who you thought would maybe not get a quick level 6 this game, he was given mid-experience. He's been given space and time, and he's not being picked off. The Mongols have maybe wasted a little bit of their time. They've not exploited First Departure's weaknesses.
Yeah, definitely. I think coming out of the laning phase, having 2 heroes that don't have a level 6 on your supports, compared to the Earth Spirit is gonna hit level 6 pretty soon, and Oracle is ready. Oh, they get Pelosin, but this could have happened much earlier. I feel like the Invoker he's still not very farmed. He has the Midas, I believe, but that's a really late Midas. It's like he died, so that's technically it's like a 13-minute Midas.
Not the best, for sure. It's definitely not the best. I think given the circumstances, it's all they could really hope for, but it's the levels I'm worried about more. You know, the OD is now level 11, or very close to. And they've almost got the mech on the Tidehunter, so all these like pieces of the puzzle are coming together for the Mongols, and they start pushing into these towers. And first departure, they've got two options. You know, they face them head on and try to clash. Lubby, yeah, he gets the ward down. Actually, there are no stuns here. Damage cancelled out there, so he just TPs himself away. Good choice.
The Sankey, the Slark player, has been constantly pinging these wards, so one of the best things about Slark, they're gonna get 2 fresh wards off the map instantly. The one at top was dewarded.
Again, Cal has given free reign on this bottom lane. He's close to his mech on top of all of this. So it's not just the Tidehunter that got his utility item and teamfight capability behind him. They're also looking, building themselves up pretty nicely. And when the Miracle's heading into this BKB, it looks like a rush BKB. Oh, got root spot. Yeah, Vengeful Spirit kept alive actually by the Wisp and healed up, but it's the OG diving in deep, and look at that. The False Promise keeps him alive. Retribution turned around on. They need the tether. They need something to heal him. Full imprisonment will keep him out of danger for now. Colossus does drop, and that False Promise, definitely not the truth. Back to back with all those kills off one, and Tidehunter ravages through. Cal not going to get clipped by it. He'll clear up R70. Colossus gets a double kill with just his bloody Forge Spirits, and it's the Mongols that lose 3 in exchange for only the Invoker.
Yeah, that was kind of an awkward exchange. I think Bench could have just stacked, but they decided to fight into it, and having an OD just be your frontliner and like go in like that without a BKB, it could have worked out, but there was a False Promise. I don't know how to exactly feel about that, especially since it's a good excuse for Darkseer to make an easy rotation, right? The Darkseer is often a hero that farms for a longer time than the average offlaner, and to fight so close to the the lane that Darkseer usually resides in means that you're gonna have to fight into that mech and the really high level Darkseer. It's like Darkseer doesn't want to make rotations because he doesn't really have the tools to do so, but when you come to him, it's just a welcome fight for Darkseer.
Couple of big problems, the Tidehunter didn't have his mech in that team fight. Obviously things would have been drastically different if he did. But if you look at the hero that they've killed, the Invoker, it's honestly not such a big deal. He's already died so much. Pelosin, I don't think, really cares a massive amount about dying once in a team fight, as long as the rest of his team can pick up the pieces and things around. Managing to give a lot of golden experience across to your support. Level 8 on the Oracle, level 7 almost on Earth Spirit. While Venge and Wisp have barely scrapped themselves up to level 6. Where Mongols, though, start to apply pressure on this map and get into these tier 1s. They're stuck into things and maybe force first departure to either split farm or meet them head on head. Need to wait for this Ravage to come off cooldown.
Miracle is nearing his BKB, which is a big item for him. Meanwhile, Slark has the Shadow Blade, and the interesting thing is he might opt to go for a Silver Edge later on to disable the evasion and the crit on the PA instead of going for the MKB, which is more costly. Silver Edge isn't really cheap, but he has a Shadow Blade, which is really convenient. Slark can really use the maim and the extra HP. And here, finally, the Mongols are farming the Ancients. Should be a good chunk of EXP. Now, I mean, the Wisp and Venge have their ults now, so it's not as game-changing. Had they done it earlier, it might have then really boosted their levels. Still, it's much needed gold nonetheless because they're essentially playing farming wars.
Oh, Oracle's BKB, like you said, is up and running. A lot of Atos on that Outworld Devourer now, though, so being able to maybe keep track of one of these supports a little bit easier, but you've always got to remember, the Surge from Cal, there's Ghost Walk from Evoker, Earth Spirit can roll himself away, and the PA has Blink. So many mobility tools here for first departure that it's difficult to keep tabs and damage on the target. They're kick down onto that Slark stance and the meatball as well. The swap back, he keeps him alive, barely surviving through it. With the Shadow Hands will get himself away and perhaps down with the relocate in as Kai is slammed into the ground by Retribution. He's got another Sanity Eclipse as well. Pelosin, they need the Astral, cancel a TP, but Retribution doesn't get the vision in time and Cal's being chased out. Astral is there as he surges, Astral. And Retribution should be able to kill off this Darkseer. As long as the TP doesn't complete, and it's definitely not, but Masquerade ravages through, pretending to be Shiva. Doesn't catch anyone.
That's still a really big turnaround for Mongolz. I was just gonna mention, it's funny that the way they are playing right now, the Wisp is with the OD and the Venge is with the Slark. So the two cores are essentially, they can farm to their heart's content without worrying too much about dying. That was a really narrow escape there. So the Venge isn't as foolproof as the Wisp. Also, if you notice, the Wisp has level 3 in. Now it's overcharged, max overcharge, but yeah, he had 113 before, which is interesting. It's almost like they don't expect fight. That's why they didn't get the spirits, the rotating spirits.
Oh, that's true. Like, usually the spirits are like more of a laning tool, and you harass people out with them. Oh, love Fortune's End, but Sanka has found this little oracle. He'll try and keep himself alive, but it's not gonna happen. Sentry ward there for some reason.
Yeah, just dying is not. It's scary sometimes, so you just click items. The one thing the Mongols are doing really well is they're keeping the wards off their jungle. That's the third time that they've dewarded a fresh ward, and they haven't quite found the one from earlier when Oracle went deep into the Ancients, but that's gonna expire, so they have to sort of play blind, and I'm not sure what their game plan is. They have the BKB on the PA, but it's not gonna keep up with the Slark's Midas, I feel. You didn't go Battle Fury, the BKB is not a good farming item, so what is their next plan? I'm wondering, could they like smoke into the Ancients, use Alacrity and Force Spirits to sneak a Roche? Same could be said for Mongols too, though. They have a pretty good Roche lineup. They have the OD on top of like the Venge and Tidehunter having double armor reduction.
Do you think first departure their plan is going to be to start fighting soon? Well, you're right. They head into the Roche pit, it looks like. But the trouble is, Mongols, they're actually very close to contesting this. They know themselves in there. Going to shove out this bot lane. Oh, Roshan is not started just yet. First departure, they're considering this now. The blink forward of Miracle. Forward Spirit, they'll have Alacrity. Damage as well. Lotuson's just holding up the meatball and maybe, you know, an ice ball or a deafening blast. Fight in this little choke point here. For a cold snap instead.
I think. I personally am a fan of having Alacrity and Ice Wall in the Roche pits. Especially since you can Ice Wall and blink out if there is a fight, but yeah, it looks like they're gonna sneak a one on Mongols. Mongols were sort of scared that they were being smoked on.
Radiant's middle tower.
Parts to get Aegis over onto the assassin. Only just got the BKB, but got that second life as well.
It's pretty like, a shame for Mongols because they wasted so much time. They were scared and respectful about the potential loop around for a first departure, so they didn't get any objectives and they just let them have Roche. And look at Slark's items. He is gonna go for that Silver Edge.
Nice.
I'm not sure if that's the choice though, because at this point, PA is like not that like important to kill. Like killing the Invoker is still more impactful.
He went for S and Y.
I believe.
Finished off standing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he can go back and disassemble these into, you know, Mantis Star and Silver Edge.
Definitely.
I guess S and Y now, if he wants to try and pick people off, it's going to be the Invoker, like you're saying, maybe one of the supports on the back end, or even the Darks here. Tanking up and having those stats is going to be pretty damn nice, and he's going to try and jump himself in now, but they go in with the meatball, deafening blast, and catch the Vengeful Spirit with a crit out from Miracle. They clear him up, but it's on the back end where the OD, he's actually pounding into Lovely, but good damage, catches through this time, back into the wall. Cal, the Eclipse, turns it back around, also the sack is cleared up a couple with a third taken down by Retribution. This Outworld Devourer is absolutely wrecking face. And Miracle.
He doesn't have a TP, he can't even BKB TP out.
Oh man, boy. He can try and BKB Blink, but it's going to be a long old journey to run himself away. He's looking for the kill for the Wisp, but look at that, the tether back, and Retribution chases him down. Miracle is on the long run out, he's got Blink Strike up and 14 stick charges. But with a change to that run of Atos, giving the 40% accuracy now, getting through with the evasion of the Phantom Assassin. Definitely worthwhile pickup for the OD.
Yeah, a very nice play by Mongolz. I was actually quite surprised that after losing the Venge like that, usually when you lose a player for free, you have second thoughts about taking a fight right after, but these guys were pretty confident. It kind of reminds me of the time that we lost to them. They were really just like, they went ham on us.
Up to battle, and they're going to battle some more. Flick forward, retribution the back and back, but Kai, he's in so much trouble. Cal, his brother, also in a ton of danger. And with the astral forward, who's been caught? Who is this? It's Lobby! Courier dies in the midst of all of that, and again, 3 heroes die for nothing.
Yeah, I think within the span of 2 minutes, until first Apostle got the Roche, that was a big, I mean, they were losing slightly at that point, but that Roche made it pretty okay. And then that fight at bottom happened, and these pickoffs happened, and losing the tier 2, losing the courier, this game has quickly taken a swing, and I'd say first departure, they have to come up with some more creative ways to come back at this game and even out the playing field, because in a straight up fight, I doubt that the fights are going to go any better, especially because like these cores made so much money now. OD has the Moon Shard. I think he's gonna get a pretty quick BKB at this rate, and Slark, he has so many items to choose for. He can go for a Scotty on top of the Sergeant Yasha, just go a lot of stats, or you could go for a BKB, Asher, a Silver Edge.
But it's kind of like you were saying, the Phantom Assassin's optimization here with the BKB. Not the best at split pushing, not the best at farming, so keeping up with the Slark and OD is so bloody difficult. The BKB was kind of an early
the
game.
Smoke broke. Yeah, he's pinging it. They know they're there.
Link up onto high ground. Slark has killed the Oracle, but it's a 2-man Ravage. Pelosin, see you, buddy. Just obliterate. 3 heroes from first departure cease to exist on this map. The Mongolz. Can they push high ground off this?
I think it's too early into the game, and the waves are not pushed out enough for them to go high ground. I mean, it looks like they are, but I mean, Invoker in 25-ish seconds. The Darkseer is still there. I suppose they're so strong that even without the OD and tight ults, they feel like they can take it. But obviously, their heroes are not the best at taking. Oh.
Slark, even with only 4 essence shifts stacked up, he's hammering away at this tier 3. Got the attack speed from the Wisp as well. They'll take the tower and actually retreat themselves away. They don't want to be dealing with Voka, Darkseer, vacuum combinations. Meantime, Miracle's Phantom Assassin was alone down the bottom lane. He does have a TP this time. Will retreat out to safety.
Yeah, that was the right call. Sometimes it's really hard for me to make see like your limits, because sometimes it's easier actually in the game
to feel it
when you're to feel it. But yeah, I think that I thought definitely the Rax might stretching it too far. That might be throwing the game eventually, because you're fight too long, too deep, it's too close to their base. But getting that tier 3 was a very nice call. It means that the next time they wipe or semi-wipe first departure, they're gonna have a really good shot at least forcing buybacks and getting that Rax so early into the game.
Oh, it's going to be a Monkey King bar for the Slark, so not the Silver Edge. While Miracle is going back for a Battle Fury.
Yeah, this is a pretty common way. I think Kyo used to go like this. Because I mentioned Kyo only because he's one of the he plays a lot of PA on competitive, right? Yeah. So he wanted to go Battle Fury a long time ago, but he himself decided, oh man, this build is too greedy. I have to go BKB into Battle Fury instead of vice versa. The difference is that Miracle chose to go for the Helm of Dom, but that's probably because he's a safe. He'll usually play the mid PA, and you get the BKB so your team doesn't get run over mid game. But they kind of did. Either way, you win the mid game and then you get Battle Fury and you secure the easy farm, and then you go high ground with full slot. Or in this case, you don't seem to be able to fight them anyway, so might as well get the Battle Fury. It's like either way you get the Battle Fury for different reasons, but come to the same conclusion far more.
Oh, Atwell Devourer has finished that BKB up and now and tied with a blink and close to getting that Shiver's Guard. The Mystic Staff is purchased. Voker, on the other hand, over on First Departure, his Aghanim Scepter finally complete. So this is a kind of a stepping stone here. This is where First Departure start to think, right, getting the pieces together, we're no longer crumbling and being torn apart at the seams. They've allowed us time to farm and maybe recuperate a little. Tier 2 is still standing, which, you know, they probably can't just hardcore commit and push into. They're just keeping their warding up, making sure they see... Oh, well, not much longer. This Slark has done such a great job at running himself around to spot out any of these observables that FD have been placing out. So now the map is pretty dark for them outside these creep waves. You know, bot tier 3, there's a creep wave there with a catapult, and Voker is shoving mid tier 2. Just a case of stick in the enemy jungle and try and farm up as much as you can, while Cal up at top actually looks towards cutting this wave.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Or not. He's twice about it. The rest of the Mongols have backed themselves off from top lane, and Cal a little bit worried about what's going to poke its head around the corner for them. I think the next Roshan in about a minute's time is going to be a big team fight that we'll be looking for between these two teams, as First Departure need the Aegis on Miracle to give themselves, or even the Invoker to give themselves a fighting chance in the upcoming battles and skirmishes, while the Mongols having Aegis on the Slark or the OD, it's like that consolidation, it's the high ground push potential just to allow them to win the game.
Yeah, I think the focus for the next 2 minutes is going to be the Roche. I mean, the Roche is going to spawn pretty soon. This time, I bet Mongols are going to be more conscious about having vision around the Roche pit and checking it every few seconds to make sure. Okay, the first Roche is like, you can see it getting stolen a few times. It's hard to predict. But the second time, it definitely shouldn't be the case because it's going to spawn. It's not always there.
Oh, Blossom. Do they have reveal on them? I don't think they do. There are no sentries. I think Tidehunter has to think about getting himself a gem.
I mean, Slark knows he's there, but not much he can do.
Well, he tries. With that Monkey King bar, you know, there's a chance that he cancels the TP if he was lucky with that hit onto him.
Yeah, I think if Wisp had a dust, they could have just insta-relocated on top of the Invoker as Tide Ravage, but...
Radiant's top tower is
Yeah,
under attack.
both teams know there's a Roche. And I think Mongols just go for it, they're so strong. They actually want to contest this and lose the game instantly.
FD, they're in no position to do so Aegis will go the way of the Mongols, and Slark is the one to pick it up. What's the decision-making process there to give it a Slark instead of the OD?
Radiant's top tower is under
I think OD has a BKB. With the BKB, that means he can't be targeted by anyone. Like, the PA can't blink strike onto the OD. So OD should be pretty safe, and I mean, you can make the case that OD is a good carrier, but once he uses the ult, his value goes down a lot, whereas Slark, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Both these heroes steal stacks, right? Attributes. But Slark is kind of like, so hard to kill him, but if you manage to kill him once, then you have to kill, especially this level of farm Slark, you have to think about killing him.
Oh, the Ravager 3! That is still stolen! First Departure didn't stand a frickin' chance. They threw down 2 sentries to try and spot the Slark coming in, but with no buybacks on the support, Invoker will come back to the land of the living here, and mid lane's being pushed in by the PA, but the vacuum into the wall as well with Meteor and the Tornado. They're trying to do some damage, but it's just nothing. It tickles the Mongols, and the jump forward from Retribution will look for the kill on the Invoker, but he goes to walk himself back behind the tier 4s. Goodness gracious me, that all kicked off so quickly. Mid lane, what's happening here? Miracle, he's pushing tier 3, but Masquerade comes through. Some Assassin will try and deal with the Tidehunter. Shiver's Guard popped back into his face. Miracle still has his BKB and he'll jump himself forward, but between Anchor Smash and Shiver's Guard, there's just nothing doing. Miracle's looking for the trade-off and trying to get this melee racks. With no glyph available, he might be able to succeed, but it's going to be the trade here. Almost a Mega Creeps. Avenge TP's away. Well, Miracle gets something for his time, but the relocate forward, there's going to be no stuns onto the Phantom Assassin. gets a melee, keeping her life safe as well. And I guess the fact that she couldn't really fight at bot or mid, it's something. It's something.
Yeah, it's better than nothing, but I mean, Mongolz are just fine and happy with that trade. I think what First Departure failed to realize is that they have no chance of team fighting when Mongols are ready. So they had to somehow be ready. They want to win the game, right? It's not like, oh, we're losing, we shouldn't fight them. You can't just delay and procrastinate forever. The one thing they could have done is maybe jump Mongols as they were climbing high ground. Yeah, like there's a high chance you're gonna lose, but either way, if you don't fight them, they're gonna take your racks like they just did. So they could have like vacuumed into. They need the Earth Spirit stun to connect with vacuum to disable the BKBs. Then you drop the Invoker combo on top of that. They had to try something, but they didn't. They got triple kill inside their base because Mongols for sure knew. How can they already can destroy First Departure in a 5-on-5, but without the PA there. Yeah, PA has that massive, but I'm not sure it's gonna really do much. It doesn't really. OD is good at killing those illusions, and then you have the Tide Hunter with both Shivas and Ravage.
Rough stuff, and with the Ravage backup as well. Sanity's Eclipse is available. The only ulti not here for the Mongols is that Shadow Dance.
Yeah, but he has the Aegis, so I think Mongols just go in and just destroy First Departure.
He's only got it for like a minute and 10 seconds or something, so I think it's time to use it up. As that EMP is thrown, the backing back for the Ravage is there, back up to Kalakai, and they're both demolished. The Retribution turns back on the Miracle. The crit comes through and he kills off the OD. This is the RNG time for Miracle, turning back around onto the spot, but he's healing himself up through the whip as well. And Miracle hits his target, but it's over. The false promise pops his life, will buy back to come into the battle again, but Kai, he's got his ulti down onto them all. And it's going to be Slug. The only hero remaining. Shadow Dance is ready. We can potentially just run away from this one, but he wants to fight apparently. He's jumping himself through with all the Shadow Blade, and Shadow Dance is there. But it's the Wiz coming back into this with a buyback and relocate dead again. The Sanke, look at the Slug go. He's got 12 stacks up looking for more. The Blake not available for the PA as he's just demolished again by this Slug. Beyond godlike, 11, 0, and 8. And with no buyback available for Miracle's Phantom Assassin, Polosin and Lubby, they are the last ones remaining to try and defend their base. Pushing him back, Sunstrike, oh barely, scratches past with a Shadow Blade forward, Lubby. 2 hits, 3 hits, Lubby nearly dies straight up. The Slugs, scratchy little blade. Don't get the racks though. First Departure technically hold.
Yeah, I was talking about something like this. It was costly. Like, it's not free. Obviously, you need to use buybacks, but they managed to save that third lane of racks after like the difference in gold and experience was even worse than the initial high ground attempt by the Mongols. Oh, someone's sleeping there.
Dark wants to go back in. There are 2 sentries here watching his every movement though. The cold snap through, he'll realize this. Move himself all the way back. Wards being spammed out everywhere. Sanke, he really wants these racks. Fate's Edict, then purged off. He's okay for now. The thing is, the Mongols, they don't have any of their big ultimates. There's no Eclipse, there's no Ravage either, but they don't really care too much as it appears. The vacuum off the mark as well as that boulder smash. Kai and Cal not pairing up too well there, and with no, there is the glyph. Oh, use it now. Click forward, Retribution, 1, 2, 3, 4. Kai nearly dead, but it's gonna be Polosin that throws his combo down with the Retribution without doing any damage to him. Sanka has the freedom to move himself forward. That little sentry placed out will maybe save up one of them, but Kai, the damage with the Ravage and Masquerade. He catches one, but they don't even need to catch any more. Back in the wall as Cal with the Ice Wall as well. Oh, catch this little ducks here. It's all smoke and mirrors as the final Rax top lane has fallen, and I think First Departure they're done for. Fly back in. And Wisp keeps on tethering through and healing his teammates. There's the buyback from the OD, but GG is called and First Departure tap out. Game number 1 here between Mongols and FD. And there's the Mongolians that come out on top.
I'm telling you, Mongolians are They might be the next overlords. Yeah, impressive. I think the early game they could have been more systematical about how they maximize their efficiency in terms of levels and gold. But like the mid game, their fights were really good. I didn't point out some of the things that I found were odd, like OD only having level 1 and Astro